Lean Startup Method presented by Valery Insignaris, Luis Altamiranda, Victor Rozo. Lean Startup Method, introducing Chapter 2 of the book, The Lean Startup Method. The goal is to capture the audience's attention and prepare them for a discussion about how entrepreneurship is being redefined in the modern era. It emphasizes that the approach is not limited to traditional startups, but encompasses a mindset and methodology applicable to any organization seeking to innovate. Set of practices. The Lean Startup Method is not an abstract theory, but rather a set of practical tools and techniques. These practices are designed to guide entrepreneurs through the process of creating and developing a startup. Innovation management. In highly uncertain environments, assumptions can be dangerous. The Lean Startup Method proposes a data-driven and experimental approach. It seeks to minimize risk by validating market and customer hypotheses through rapid and frequent testing, experimentation, rapid learning, and adaptation. Experimentation is at the heart of the Lean Startup Method. Entrepreneurs are encouraged to test their ideas with a minimum viable product, MVP, and collect real-world data. Rapid learning is essential. Entrepreneurs must be willing to pivot, that is, to change their strategy based on the data collected. Constant adaptation is key. The market changes rapidly and startups must be agile to respond to these changes. What is a startup? One might think that this method seeks to distance itself from the conventional notion of a young company. It explains that a startup is a human institution designed to create new products and services under conditions of extreme uncertainty. This implies that the ability to innovate and adapt quickly is what defines a startup, not its size or age. It emphasizes that this mindset is crucial for survival and growth in dynamic markets. It's also said that it's more about how a startup has an innovative idea and uses technology to grow very quickly. Imagine someone invents a food delivery app that's much easier to use than existing ones. That person creates a startup to develop and sell their app. Principles of innovation. Here we can see the diverse ways in which innovation can manifest itself. It is emphasized that it is not limited to revolutionary scientific discoveries, but also includes the creative repurposing of existing technologies, the creation of new business models, and expansion into new markets. This broad perspective encourages organizations to seek innovation opportunities in multiple areas. The importance of experimentation. It focuses on continuous experimentation as a pillar of the Lean Startup Method. It explains that rapid and frequent testing enables iterative learning, where decisions are based on real market data rather than assumptions. It emphasizes that this approach minimizes risk and maximizes efficiency, allowing companies to quickly adapt to customer needs. Entrepreneurial culture. The importance of fostering a culture that values experimentation and learning is highlighted. It is explained that innovation must be decentralized, allowing teams the autonomy to test ideas. Furthermore, it is emphasized that success should be measured by market impact, not just by the fulfillment of an initial plan. This promotes a mindset of adaptability and customer focus. Case study. Intuit SnapTax. The case of Intuit SnapTax is presented as a concrete example of how lean startup principles can be applied in a large corporation. Despite being an established company, Intuit demonstrated an entrepreneurial mindset by developing an innovative product that transformed the user experience. This example illustrates that innovation is not limited to traditional startups. Some examples from the Intuit SnapTax case study were: they developed a mobile tax filing app. They started with a very limited product, California only. They iterated quickly based on user feedback. They achieved 350,000 downloads in 3 weeks. Minimum viable product, MVP. Simple version to test hypotheses. The MVP concept focuses on efficiency and speed. Instead of investing significant time and resources in developing a complete product, a simplified version containing the essential features is created. Real user feedback. One of the most important advantages of an MVP is the ability to obtain direct and authentic feedback from users. By putting the product in the hands of potential customers, opinions and data on how they interact with it can be collected. This feedback provides crucial information about user needs and preferences, allowing entrepreneurs to make adjustments and improvements before making a larger investment. Validation before large investments. The MVP acts as an early validation tool, allowing startups to determine whether their business idea has potential before committing large amounts of capital. By testing the product in a real-world environment, data can be gathered on market demand and the viability of the business model. The pivot, strategic change in business strategy. It represents a substantial change in the direction a startup is taking. It's not a simple adjustment or improvement, but a fundamental shift in the business model, value proposition, or target market. Maintaining the original vision. Despite the change in strategy, a pivot doesn't mean abandoning the company's original vision. The vision, which represents the startup's long-term goal and purpose, remains constant. A pivot is simply a change in the path to achieving that vision. It's about finding a more effective and viable route, adapting to market needs and the lessons learned. Based on lessons learned. This approach isn't an arbitrary change, but rather an informed decision based on the lessons learned during the experimentation process. The information gathered through the build, measure, learn cycle provides valuable data on what works and what doesn't. These lessons allow the startup to identify new opportunities. IMVU, a virtual world with a lean approach. IMVU, an online social platform where users create 3D avatars and interact in virtual worlds, applied key lean startup concepts to transform its business model and achieve sustainable growth.